So a little announcement, Clean Week is going to be kicking off, I think October 3rd, and then the Surge is also going to be that night. So that's a Tuesday. So I guess wow, that's next week. That's crazy. That's so crazy that October's next week. So we won't have a team call next week. It'll just be plugging into the Surge. It'll be with Carl and Megan. I'm going to post more about it. Yeah, in the team page. But basically, I just want all of us to get on that because it's going to talk a lot about um, basically using Clean Week to the best of your abilities. And from what I found at Super Saturday, this is just going to be a great way for us to segue people into a challenge pack because they don't already have to like create an account to where it's like they have to create another one when they get a challenge pack. So it's going to be really useful in the sense of just being able to very easily plug someone in with a free account. And then, from there, it's probably going to be similar. I'm not sure. I'm sure Megan's going to be on it, honestly. She's so awesome. I got to actually talk to her, meet her, work out with her. She's really great. And I don't believe this is the last thing that we'll see from her. I think this is just a great way to segue her into our family and kind of test her out a little bit. But just mark that on your calendar because I want to make sure we're all utilizing this launch the best that we can, especially going into this time of year. We're going to have to work a little bit harder. But I think if we work smarter, we're not going to be working much harder as we think. It's really just going after things in a very planned, systematic way. And if we can bring people in at the beginning of October into a free clean eating group, honestly, a lot more people feel crappy around this time of year than we think. And us staying committed to our goals is really going to inspire other people when they need that, when they are ready to come to us and ready to make those changes. You never know when people are going to come out of the woodworks. All right, so I'm just going to get right to it. So basically the point of this call was just coming back from like so many experiences that I've had this last week that have been so eye-opening. And it seems like every single training that I've been on has talked about vision and talks about leadership and just kind of talked about stepping outside of your comfort zone. Every conversation my boyfriend and I recently had is like about what we're focusing on. And I really just have been reminded that we really can't build anything here if we don't know where we're going. And I don't necessarily mean like diamond or elite or 5-star diamond or, these huge business ranks or Beachbody lingo, but within our life. We have to decide, we have to know what we want out of our lives and then create this business to help us get there. So all of those achievements and accolades and ranks are going to come whenever we see where we're going in our future. And what can be really difficult about that is basing that off of where we are right now. So, something that I realized that I wasn't focusing enough on over this last week was my finances. Basically realizing that I've been telling myself this story that is much like, you're doing the best you can and you're just trying to get by and basically like spending small amounts of money here and there to kind of make myself feel better and fill this small void because I didn't want to face the fact that I needed to be saving money. I had debt to pay off. Basically realizing that Darren and I were in a way almost like making it okay for each other to spend here and there. And we hadn't had a conversation where it was like, okay, here's our plan, here's where we want to go, and this is what we're going to do to get there. And I think with anything, you have to have that. You can't just like stumble around in the dark because things do get very overwhelming. They get depressing, they get frustrating, and life becomes just like, this constant spiral of, I guess it's fine, I guess I'll get by, I guess I'll make it, I'll figure it out later. We tend to tell ourselves like, well, at least we have each other. Like, I remember thinking that to myself, like with Darren and I, like, at least I have him. And I'm like, yeah, like I do have him. Why am I not making the most incredible experience possible out of having him and the life that we can create for ourselves? So if you can't even think of a life that you want to live that you don't have right now, ask yourself if you're truly happy. Are you truly happy where you are within yourself? It doesn't even have to do with anything on the outside. but are you truly happy with who you are and what you represent as a person and the legacy that you're currently leaving behind? Or do you want more? Are you currently happy with your financial situation and the way that your family looks and the freedom that your family has? Do you feel secure for the future? And like I said, like, it's really hard for me to sit here, and I've been telling myself daily that that's where I'm going to go, is debt-free, financially secure, have a savings, be able to provide for my children, be able to travel, because it's so easy to log into my bank account right now and see numbers that don't make me feel like that's where I'll get, right? It's easy to be like, I don't even know how I'm going to have a savings account when I have this X, Y, and Z. I don't even know how I'm going to, and this is just me using kind of my something as an example, but basically, like, we can't base our vision off of like where we are right now, because it's just unrealistic. So if you have this expectation for who you want to become, and based on how you feel in this very current moment, you're like, I just don't even, there's no way I could get there. That is what we have to retrain our brains to believe. And I believe that's why so many people stop and get halted and give up in this business, because they spend too much time stirring in where they are instead of taking responsibility for where they are and moving forward, but instead wallowing in how we feel. Now, it's not realistic at all to just constantly be positive. That's not realistic. I don't expect anyone to be like happy all the time, because then I think you're being fake. And when you do feel those hard feelings, you're probably going to crash really hard. And then you're going to feel even more like a failure, because you're like, why am I not positive during this like gut-wrenching, difficult time in my life? So, I understand that we all go through hard times. And right now, I feel that. I'm sure a lot of other people do as well. But it's all in how we look at that. And if I would continue to tell myself every day, you just don't have that much, I'm never going to obtain anymore, by convincing myself that, and basically just almost like pouting. That's not going to do anybody any good, and it's not going to move me forward. So it was very hard to take responsibility for where I am and to recognize that I have to change my actions and change my thinking process. And I had to do the same thing when it came to quitting my job and doing this full time. But this thing is always growing. I have to grow if I want this to grow. So it's not like I can just stop here. I don't want to just stop here. I want more. And another thing that I want to make clear, because I come from a family that is very incredible. I was raised very well, but I will be honest with you guys, sometimes being from such a small town, I have this little voice in my head that's like, isn't, what you have enough? Like, why are you trying to have more? Like, what's wrong with what you have? Or why are you being greedy? Right? And I'm like, I've worked very hard to silence that, especially after Amy Silverman posted something. If you want to go back and read it, you can. But basically, she just shut the haters up and was like, I don't understand why people, hate that money buys them freedom, or hate money, or don't believe they deserve to have money. She was like, I just was able to fly my mother out of Miami with no blink of an eye, booked the last flight, didn't even have to think twice about the cost of what it was going to be, but I was able to do that for her. And she is safe with me. There is no question. I literally get goosebumps thinking about it. There is no question of her safety. I was able to take care of her, and that is all I've ever wanted to do. And I was just like, that is why I want more, because you can give it back. That's my vision, to have enough to give back. And right now, I don't have enough to give back. But if I sit and I think about that every day, I'm never going to move forward. But if I sit down every day at work and go, this message is moving me forward, this personal development is moving forward. This team call is moving me forward. This workout is moving me forward. All of these things that I'm doing daily are moving me toward a greater vision. And it's not going to happen overnight. And that's a really hard thing, I think, for sometimes for us to just digest. But we have to believe with every single thing inside of us that we'll get there. But that's how important it has to be. And if we don't have that, we really won't show up. I am totally here to help people, feel that confidence again and create the changes that I've seen in my life. And I want to spread that with everything in my body. But I don't believe that's a vision. I believe that's our purpose. And I believe that's a passion that we can live out on this platform. We can do so many things with this platform. It's a way to express so many passions and reach so many people. But we won't show up to work and go through the personal journey that it takes to get there until we know where we want to go. And I truly believe, like today when I was sitting on the beach, I was like, I feel this calling that I am pushing for this greater dream and this bigger, scary vision because of the people that are going to come with me, because they need me to go so they can come too. And like, that's all that I've ever wanted to do as a coach, was push for more and bring other people with me, whether it's my fitness, whether it's my finances, whether it's freedom, whether it's learning how to go through ups and downs in a relationship, but bringing people with me on my journey and through my story. So don't base what you want off your current circumstances, and check yourself on what you're focusing on. And if you don't know what you want, if you don't have a vision, that's where we need to start. Because your why is like this, I think it's like a little smaller than the greater vision. I feel like your why is kind of like for me, like right now, if I was just like going to say my why, it would be to be able to go to the store and not panic when I ran my credit card. Like that's like something that I can picture like in my mind. And, Darren and my family, that's all our why, you know what I mean? That's kind of part of our vision, but we have to start there. I can no longer ask, how's it going? Like, how are we all doing, until I know what you specifically are working towards. And the only reason I'm saying this is because I don't want to do this team a disservice anymore by pushing the people that we have here to get outside of what they feel is comfortable and grow something bigger than themselves. Because I know everyone's capable of it. And I'm saying that team-wide, even though there's one person on this team, on this call right now. I would hope everyone watches this. If they don't, then I can't control that. I can no longer, wonder if anybody wants to do this too. You have to want that for yourself, and you have to see where you're going and then ask what to do. Learn about how to get there. It's not going to happen overnight, like I said, but it will happen with consistent work ethic and diligence. And everybody's journey is a little different. And it doesn't have to be some crazy, far-fetched, that doesn't have to be what your vision is. But give yourself a chance to dream a little bit. Like if you want to just buy yourself a new car or save money for your kids' college fund, like to me, that's huge. My family didn't have any money saved for me to go to college. I don't even think my family has any money saved, to be honest. That to me is like, would be an incredible, incredible accomplishment. Like to be able to be like, not to say I'm not going to make my kids work in college, because I believe that's really important. But, I don't want to put them through a bunch of student loan debt. I just feel like that's my responsibility. And I don't even have kids yet. But that's just like, that's something that I feel like that's a very real feeling for me. So that has to have something you have to have a feeling like that too. And I just want us to dive into this more, because there is no way I can be like, do these actions, show up more on, like, there has to be a reason that you want to grow past whatever is holding you back right now. So again, the last thing I'll say, well, I guess I haven't said this yet, but oh, good. The last thing I'll say too is the universe just really listens to us, and they listen to the energy that we're putting out into the world. And as much as we can, like, say what we want to say on posts, we're not attracting people because we're not putting the right vibes out there. And I say vibes, energy, basically, like, when I posted that post on Sunday night, I was like, okay, like, sometimes it's super easy to be like, oh my God, that one vulnerable, amazing post is going to bring me so many people that are just driven and can relate to how I'm feeling and want to change their circumstances. But that doesn't always work that way. But that post was a release of energy out into the world. It was a way for me to open up a new door, to release this new dream and this new vision and this new crystal clear place that I'm going. And as I continue to talk about that, as I continue to believe that every single day, like, it radiates off of me, it will come back. And that's just what we have to believe. That's what we have to believe. And that it's true. I mean, I believe it's true. Whatever you focus on becomes your reality. If we sit and we focus on having nothing, not being good enough, not being able to run this business because we're not this, do you know how many days I constantly ask myself, am I even a good leader? Like, do I have what it takes? I can't do that because I'm not serving you guys by doubting myself. I'm only serving you guys by stepping up more, doing more for you, opening more doors for you, but I seriously cannot do anything but that. All I can do is open the door, fill you up, because I believe in every single one of you, but you have to take the bait. Like, when I started, I was 22 years old. I had no freaking clue how to be any kind of like business runner, but I had this crazy idea in my mind. And when Natalie opened doors for me, I freaking jolted through them. When she was like, this is how you build your business, that's what I did. When she explained that this is where I need to improve, that's where I improved. And if she wasn't telling me things, I asked, or I showed up in the team page, or I watched YouTube videos, and that's still what I do. It's not easy every day, but I want you guys to understand how important it is to know what you're working toward. You will attract people to you that want the same things. You will change people's lives in the process, because when you push yourself outside of that little circle, it shows other people that they can push themselves outside of that little circle. That's what's so powerful about sharing our stories. And if there's something that you're afraid of sharing and that you feel is almost too vulnerable, I never in a million years would have ever thought I would have talked about being in debt or even wanting to have money. I don't think I ever would have talked about that. But I decided, you know what? I got to get over that. I have to get over that to get to that place. That's all a step in becoming who I need to become, to have what I want to have, to live the life that I want to live. And Darren made a really interesting point to me this morning, because I got off this leadership call and I just came downstairs. I'm like, I want to get through to my team. Like, I want to connect with them. I want them to know, like, this is how special this is, how special they are. If they just would dream and create that vision and believe that they can take the first step. You don't even have to know how to take all the steps. Just want to take the first step. And he was like, you need to speak to them like you speak to me. He's like, you're hard on me sometimes. He's like, but you're honest. And you want what's best for me. And you want me to grow. Because you want me to grow with you as a team toward our greater vision. And that is just what I'm going to begin doing with this team, for the people that want to come with me, for the people that want to be in the top 200 of this company. Because what that means to me is we've got some badass coaches on our team who are creating really badass organizations and are fulfilling their full potential. It means that we're not scared. It means that we are not holding back because we're afraid of what other people think. And it means we've worked really freaking hard to get there. And that's something we'll be very, very, very proud of. So that's all I have. Thank you for getting on here. I'm glad this was helpful. Yay. Okay, perfect. If you want to chat with me more, Sierra, just set up a call with me too if you want. And we can talk a little bit more about what we talked about today.
Yeah, I'm going to look at my